What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is the Chinnis. Today is May 2nd, Wednesday, New Comic Book Day. I have my haul here of 22 with 17 different titles. So starting off with DC, we have DC Nation. So this is number 0. It was only 25 cents. So, with my discount, a little bit more, I picked up 4 total. I picked up 2 at each LCS that I go to. So this was actually 3 individual stories, kind of compiled here in this one issue. First, centered around a Batman story. So this is really about the Joker. And, so this is kind of like a little prelude to the Batman wedding with Catwoman. So very good if you are a Joker fan. Like, this was a great little short story. It's just a few pages long, but very good. I'm not going to show you the very end, but as we go on, we have the second story, which is Superman. So this was, I guess, just an okay story, so to speak. The very end of this one concludes to where it's going to start off in the Bendis Man of Steel number 1. So then we get into the best one here, which focuses around the No Justice, is going to be the next part of this storyline here. So not really sure. So Superman, there's like a couple versions of Superman, because you see the Bendis, underwear on the outside. Later on you see like an armored Superman. Not really sure what happened in between. And you start to see the various Justice League teams that they've been kind of displaying. So I'm not really sure what happened between like the last Justice League and here to get to these various teams. There's no explanation. I'm not really sure what is going on. And you also see that Superman has like some sort of like armor as well, kind of going back to like the New 52 Superman. So they have not explained that either. Not really sure what's going on. It's like you're kind of thrown into a lot of action. So it's a good little storyline here, a little quick storyline, kind of introducing all the teams like in a very, very rapid pace, and then it kind of concludes with going into No Justice. So yeah, pretty good storylines, so far. Definitely pick it up if you're going to be reading any of these 3 story arcs going forward. So yeah, DC Nation, only 25 cents. All right, next up from DC, we have Curse of the Brimstone. So, DC's version of Ghost Rider, pretty much is what this is, so far. So this is really part 2 of the origin of Brimstone. You really have not seen Brimstone. I think they showed him, the first couple panels and right here, but this is really going back to like the origin of who this kid was, why he is Brimstone. So pretty cool origin story so far, in my opinion. A lot of good character development with the main character, in my opinion. So if you are into Ghost Rider, I would say check this one out. If you're familiar with Ghost Rider, never got into him, looking for something to start off with, check this one out as well. So yeah, Brimstone, the end of this one, really wants me to continue on to number 3. So I'm going to pick this one up until I kind of figure out like who this Brimstone guy, really is. Okay, next up, Deathstroke versus Batman. So this is Deathstroke number 31. So I was able to pick up cover B as well by Jerome Pena. Man, love the cover B's here, and I love how DC is placing the all their items, I guess the marketing items here at the bottom left. Kind of feeling like a virgin cover. So yeah, love it. So yeah. Deathstroke versus Batman. This is the continuation, part 2 of who is Damian's father. I kind of got into that one. I'm not really a Deathstroke fan overall, but man, this was a very exciting, this plane going down and Deathstroke kind of landing, talking to his armor, kind of like Iron Man talking to his armor in a sense. So I didn't even know Deathstroke even had that, to tell you the truth. So yeah, I guess that was pretty cool. A little bit more insight to Deathstroke. But yeah, really more of a Deathstroke issue here in this part 2. Alright, next up from Marvel, we have Avengers. This is the reboot number 1. So I picked up just one more, read through, put this one in the spec box, and put this one in the PC. Very good storyline so far, man. If you are an Avengers fan, have been following along with, kind of what's going on. So you did not have to read that very last story arc that the Avengers just finished up in No Surrender. You did not have to read that one to, in order to kind of pick up here. It did not really matter. Very cool, so this started with the 1 million, the Earth 1 million, or I forgot what the Avengers 1 million, I think it's what this team is called. Man, very cool, man. The absolute most that you've seen of this team, like, talking, their interaction with each other, a little bit more insight what their powers are. Man, very, very cool. So, they started this with that Legacy that came out, was it like last October, November-ish, somewhere in there. But, man, great storyline, really pick up, who these guys are. Then you pick up with, current day, and this is great dialogue. This entire issue I really felt was, the highlight was this one dialogue between these three here. So you have Steve Rogers, you have Thor, and Tony Stark, and they're kind of reminiscing of what has occurred here recently. And, I have not read No Surrender, and I have no clue. I just read, Mighty Thor, where Jane Foster died. I have no clue where this hammer came from and this golden arm. There must be something in between that happened that either I completely missed, that was a part of No Surrender that I missed. I don't know. Guys, you tell me, where is this golden hammer from? But yeah, very cool dialogue in between. They kind of talked about, just recently, like what has happened, how everything's all screwed up, and like, hey, we're pretty much going to have to get back together again and form the Avengers. So like, it's going to happen. So yeah, pretty cool setup here. They're kind of introducing all the new players. Very good. If you're an Avengers fan, definitely go pick up this #1. All right, next up from Marvel, we have Weapon X. So this was, as I said in the past, like kind of like a slice and dice them up type of that action-packed title here, and it's never really dulled down in my opinion. So this was a very good issue. This one here, so because every birthday that Logan has, Sabretooth and Logan get into this massive, like, death strike blow type of fight. So because Old Man Logan has his healing factor that's a little bit dulled down due to the virus, Sabretooth is put in charge of the team. So they have this huge outing, this mission that they go on with Sabretooth, taking charge. And man, the dialogue that happens here in this one issue is just hilarious in my opinion. So yeah, if you're looking for that action comic, if you love Logan, check this one out, Weapon X. All right, XMen Gold. This is number 27, part 2 of the wedding, and there's really no wedding, going on. There's a couple of pages that they will actually reminisce, how the two actually got together at the very beginning. But other than those couple panels, and it's pretty much like a different storyline that's kind of going on. So pretty cool how Aurora has her Storm Blade. Is it Storm Blade or Storm? What is it called? Stormcaster. From that, I think it's X-Men Annual number 8, I think. But pretty cool how it came back, and she's kind of explaining like what the history was there and how it drove her mad. So yeah, it's been a long time since I kind of read those storylines, but yeah, pretty cool history to kind of catch up there. But man, I love this the team that they kind of put together here in Gold. Man, great team. I want to see what happens with this wedding. It's kind of a little bit slow, but I want to see that one kind of pick up, kind of like Batman. All right, next up, Astonishing XMen. So I guess I just found out at the very end of this one that it concludes at number 12 is actually the very final issue for this title. I guess I missed that somewhere. I guess I was totally unaware of that one. Very cool issue. So Proteus actually won in the very last issue. So reality is all screwed up. Everyone sees something different, like, depending which area you're at. But this one kind of wraps up that battle. Very, very cool battle. It's not over. He didn't fully win. X-Men are still kind of pushing back at this point in time. Very cool battle scene. And at the very end of this one, as I said, they're going to kind of tie up the title. And he goes full circle to the very first, I guess, enemy that they kind of faced off at the very beginning. So yeah, would like to see how they kind of wrap everything up in number 12. But I have enjoyed this Astonishing X-Men run so far. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Okay, next up, You Are Deadpool. So I am not truly a Deadpool fan, so I kind of read the synopsis of this one, found out that it was kind of like a read your own adventure type of issue that they're doing here. So I picked it up just for the novelty type of item here, just for the, I used to read all those books back in the day, Choose Your Own Adventure, loved them. So this was pretty cool, so I kind of read the very beginning how he kind of explains like how to play the game, so, as you're reading, six-sided dice will come into play every now and again. You have the panels that have the various numbers. Depending on, what you read or what your decision is, you go to either the next number or you have a couple decisions. Every now and again, you roll a dice. So yeah, I didn't, actually play the game, by any means, but I kind of read through it. Pretty cool concept, I'm going to keep this one in my PC just as a novelty. Alright, next up, Venomized. So this finally concludes that huge story arc that Cullen Bunn has been doing from Edge of Venomverse, and it concluded here in Venomized at number 5. You know, surprised it's not 6 issue. You know, it's always either a 4 or 6 issue. It's never a 5. But this was a 5. So again, you know, pretty cool stuff. So overall, I feel that he did a great job on this, on the overall story arc that he did here. And, you know, I know people are Venom out at this point in time. You know, this is the type of deal to where I feel is a good storyline. When it comes out in trade, you know, I say pick it up. When you get, you know, ready for a good Venom story, or a good symbiote story, really is what this is, you know, then check out the storyline. But, you know, I really feel that Cullen Bunn did a really good job on the storyline. It's just that, you know, everyone is Venomed out at this point in time, and yeah, I understand. Alright, next up, Star Wars. A couple Star Wars here this week. This is number 47. You know, as I've said before in the past, if you are a Star Wars fan, you're a fan of the movies, I highly suggest that you kind of check out these additional storylines. You know, they all tie into the Star Wars universe. You know, all this stuff that happens here actually happens in the Star Wars universe. They tie in the various movies, and I'm sure at one point in time they'll tie this into, you know, the movies, or they have like little Easter eggs and things, you know, things that Disney and Star Wars does, right? So this one is back on Mon Cala, and it's pretty cool how, I guess, both the Darth Vader Volume 2, which is a completely different timeline than what this storyline is, they're both on Mon Cala. So yeah, so pretty cool. You know, Darth Vader was underwater and kind of fighting some stuff, and this one you have Luke underwater pulling out his, you know, his iconic lightsaber that was Anakin's at one point in time. So yeah, pretty cool fight scene underwater. Won't give it away, but yeah, Star Wars. If you're a fan, check it out. Okay, Star Wars Tag and Bink were here. So I had no clue like what this was. The only thing I was aware was it was like a comedy take of Star Wars. It's, you know, only thing I was aware of. So, you know, I picked it up. I love Star Wars. I love humor. So I went ahead and picked it up. So reading through, I find out this is actually a reprint. This actually came out at one point in time under Dark Horse Comics, and it's reprinted under Marvel, since I guess they got the Star Wars rights. So yeah, I thought that was kind of strange, you know, unaware of any other Dark Horse storyline being printed under Marvel publishing line there. So yeah, so Tag and Bink are just like two dudes, and it's hilarious because it actually kind of retells episode 4, 5, 6. They get into episode 1. Episode 2 was not out at this point in time when they did these comics. But you see, you know, so it's a retelling of the storyline that we know, and these two guys are just always kind of like in the background of all these storylines that we know, and it's the humor is pretty hilarious, and there's a little Dark Horse symbol to let you know that it was Dark Horse at one point in time. The humor here is kind of like Mad Magazine. So you know how Mad Magazine would kind of retell like a satire of a movie? That's kind of what this comedy is. You know, I used to always love that. I found this to be, you know, funny in my opinion. You know, I really enjoyed this. So yeah, if you're into Star Wars, if you're into humor, definitely check this out. This was a thick issue. So I think this covered, I think, like 8 or 6 different issues, I think individual issues at one point in time, for I think $8 cover price. So it's like a trade paperback, but man, great stuff, great humor. Okay, next up, Infinity Countdown. This is number 3. So in the last Infinity Countdown, yes, as you, I guess people know, it's pretty common knowledge at this point, but this was kind of like a retitling of the Guardians of the Galaxy. So the last issue, number 2, started with Guardians of the Galaxy, and then the second story kind of went into the Adam Warlock side of the storyline here. This one kind of reverses that. It starts with the Adam Warlock storyline, which is pretty decent against Ultron. Then you get into the Guardians of the Galaxy storyline. Very good action, and I love the coloring. Just gonna kind of skip to the fight scene here. The coloring, the pinks and purples that are in this one issue, I thought were just phenomenal. Here, and let me just show you the next page. Bam. So yeah, I thought it was really cool coloring here on this one. So yeah, pretty cool action, and it, of course, this all ties into all these issues here. We're about halfway through of the Infinity Countdown to get to the new Infinity Wars, I think, is a new title coming out. But yeah, Infinity Countdown. Okay, Wolverine time. Hunt for Wolverine. So this is one of the 4 individual storylines are kind of coming out. This one covers Daredevil. So this is really more of a Daredevil, you know, issue more than anything else. Not too much insight as far as where Logan is, except for the very end, to where you kind of find out that the mass media is on Logan. Like, everyone knows that Logan is kind of like around the Earth at this point in time. Like, he's kind of popping up everywhere. But you have Daredevil kind of like sleuthing in here, and this was just okay. I'm not too much of a Daredevil fan, to tell you the truth. So if you are, pick it up if you're, looking for the Logan storyline there, but not too much reveal here in the number 1. Alright, next up, Captain America. So this is number 701. I think I'm going to stop here at 701. That last story arc was pretty decent, I can't really get past the artwork. Some of the cartoony stuff they kind of have here a little bit later on. I enjoyed this artwork here, but the artwork a little bit later on is a little bit different. Let's kind of skip to that one here. So yeah, I wasn't too much of a fan of this little storyline that they're starting here at this number 1 issue, or the number 1 of the story arc here. So again, I'm going to cancel this storyline. I just really want to pick up that number 700, and I'll stop at 701. But yeah, Captain America. Alright, so moving on to Aftershock Comics, this is Dark Arc. Man, love this title so far. So this is, again, another one by Cullen Bunn. A lot of dark stories by Cullen Bunn. I think he does a great job of this. So this kind of goes, before the flood, a little bit more insight to both Noah and the other, caretaker who takes care of the monster, the Dark Arc. So pretty cool insight there, like a little bit of a twist. I didn't really think that the history would be like that. Then again, you also see that, the animals that we knew that they had to live, they had to survive in order to provide food to the Dark Arc, once land was found. But you find another monster is down there, and Noah was actually sacrificing some of the animals to this other, dark enemy that's a complete unknown. So yeah, pretty cool new reveal for this new dark monster that's kind of out there, and a little bit good past history, origin story of Noah. So yeah, pretty cool. Enjoy this title here, Dark Arc. Alright, next up, Star Trek Next Generation. This is Through the Mirror. So that, I think like a little preview of this one came out in New Comic Book Day. I don't think it's the entire printing of this one from my recollection. But I was always a Next Generation. I loved all the Star Trek, all the generations, but Next Generation was actually my favorite. So this is pretty cool. So, the first generation, the original Star Trek, had this little storyline where they had like this alternate reality, and, they found like evil versions of themselves, kind of like the evil Justice League in a way. But this one I thought was kind of funny because, the way that they're evil, like the evil Spock, they had a little goatee, right? And the way that that they figure out that, hey, there's someone that's here that, doesn't look right, it's because Worf sees this guy with a goatee. He's like, man, I know that guy's clean shaven, and I've seen him on the Enterprise. He should not be here. So pretty cool. You see like the other, the dark, they showed like glimpse of a couple of the dark Enterprise characters that they're going to be fighting here. So yeah, I thought this was a pretty good intro to this storyline here. Very good artwork to go along with it, kind of like a Star Wars. They kind of like mix in kind of like a digital art to kind of make it look more real. Pretty cool stuff. So I think I'm going to pick this one up in trade, but I thought that this one kicked off very, very well. Alright, last up, this is going to be Valiant. We have Harbinger Wars 2. Man, so of the Valiant universe, Harbinger by far is my most favorite. Just because it's kind of like another take of the X-Men, like a mutant world. And, basically they are mutants, genetically, they kind of unlock their powers. So this is a prelude to Harbinger Wars 2 that's about to come out here, I think in June. And this one really centered more around the Secret Weapons group. And you see the same artwork from the Secret Weapons title that came out not too long ago. I love that artwork from Secret Weapons, and I love the Secret Weapons group. Far more than what I ever thought that I would. So this one has a pretty good fight scene. They kind of show what's her name, Livewire. She actually turns off the entire world, and I think that's what kind of starts this entire Harbinger Wars here. I guess maybe the humans versus the Harbingers, we'll yet to see. But man, great fight scenes, man. I love this guy who turns to stone, man. The way he uses his powers, man, it's just great, man. Hilarious at times, man. Great action here, man. I really did not think Secret Weapons would be that good, but it was, and I'm really looking forward to the Harbinger Wars about to come out. So guys, that's going to be it for this week's brand new haul. Should you enjoy what you see here, please like and subscribe. We'll talk to you later.